Hey folks, no matter what you do, whether you're in stock music or you're in sync music or you're a composer or you're a producer, you make game music, you make scores or film trailers, whatever it is, somewhere inside you is an artist. I think sometimes we forget that we're artists, that we try so hard to be composers and songwriters and especially make music income with our music that we forget to be artistic because we've got such a hat on for making income. There has to be an artist side. We can't forget about our artist side. We have to let it flourish alongside the producer that is trying to get songs out so you can make money. In my last video, I showed you an artist who has taken her music and instead of 7 years of banging her head up against a wall, she's moved into licensing and found a way to be her own artist, but yet also be successful in music with income. So she's being an artist, doing the things she wants to do musically that come from her soul, her creative soul, and still making music income. What I want to talk to you about today is trying to be an artist while also trying to produce songs that will please clients, that will get accepted into libraries and have a chance to make music income. So often I meet artists and composers and they're just cranking out the music. They're cranking out anything because they're just wanting to make music like what they've heard on some library somewhere or on the reference track that they're giving. And they're just like robots cranking something out just like that, copying it bar by bar, copying the style and the sound and everything but making a similar song. If you are not feeding your soul in the long run, folks, believe me, you're going to be unhappy in this. So how do you be an artist and also pay the bills? Do both. Make music that feeds your artistic soul, but also feeds your family because it makes music income. Well, I have 4 suggestions for you. One way is to work really hard on briefs for clients, but infuse your personal style. Infuse your style in everything. Forget the mold. Forget the template. Forget the routine of coming up with something that is just going to work for this particular pitch. Sure, there are some templates you want to use, orchestral templates, where you're going to need all of the orchestra in its correct form and use all of those elements. But you don't want to get into the point where you just call up the same template with drums and bass and whatever instruments you use on every song, and then everything starts sounding the same, and you're just like, this just doesn't sound unique and different, and it doesn't sound like what I want it to sound like. This can be soul-crushing stuff. This is I hate music stuff, like, how did I get here? Just because you're writing stock music doesn't mean you can write crap. Be the artist you are. Write the art that you like to write. Sure, you may have to follow a brief or some conventions for that particular thing. Maybe if it's stock music or sync music, you're going to have to write in 2 or 3 minutes, and that's going to have to contain the whole song. But that doesn't mean you have to rush the song or hurry or do it in a certain way that is not you. Figure a way to make that corporate track interesting to you. Put your own spin on it. Put your own creative flair in it. Don't copy what you heard on Motion Array. Just because they have a suspended cymbal going into their song and that's on Motion Array doesn't mean you have to have a suspended cymbal. Use some other kind of sound. You do something different that's more what you would do. This is the same for any brief or taxi thing that you're sending to or any kind of library thing that you're doing. Be artistic in your own way. Now, this isn't carte blanche to do whatever you want. You can't just do a 2 or 3 minute improvised solo and put it on Motion Array or send it to a brief on Taxi or send it to a library and expect it to get accepted. That being said, I just posted an improvised jazz solo to a brief on Taxi. So the second way I have found to feed my artistic soul is to alternate projects in my day. For instance, I might have some music to mix for a client or a video to do for a client or some kind of website thing that I have to do. And all those kind of things are more work than sitting here and creating some kind of masterpiece on my keyboard or something for a brief that I'm really excited about. So what I do is I alternate projects through the day. I'll do one project that's more work. I'll do one project that's more play. Occasionally I get to combine the two and I'm doing artistic work for a client, and that's fun. But usually I do one thing that I want to do and then one thing I have to do. The beautiful thing about this method is it works for really any kind of work you do, especially if you work at home. Do a little bit of your work, do a little bit of your music and fun work, or as I call it, do a little work and do a little play work. Also, when you're choosing your projects, choose the one that is more interesting to you in that moment. Be artistic above all. The third way to be more artistic is to think about your artistic works day and night. It's kind of like paying attention to your family first. After that, pay attention to your creative projects first. Put your work or your clients or whatever away when you're not working on them and think about your art. Whether that means you are doing it when you're on a break from work or when you're at your lunch break or whatever. Always be thinking about your art. Make a list of all the exciting things that you want to do for, let's say, music briefs or for licensing of some kind or for your next album. Make that list on your phone or on a journal. And then first thing in the morning, instead of checking your email and looking at all the ads and different things or going on Facebook, just seeing the news can be depressing. Instead of that, the very first thing you do, look at your projects. Look at what you want to do and then dream a little bit about it. Think out into the distance. Look out into the beautiful sky or the trees and just kind of dream a little bit. Dream about the artistic things you want to do. Think about it in your head. Use that as the first thing you think about in the day while you're having your coffee or water or whatever you have when you first get up in the morning. Don't just start the grind. In the same way, think about your creative projects as the last thing you think about before you fall off to sleep. I'll go to bed and I'll just line up 3 things that I know I want to do and think about a little bit, and I don't even get to the second thing because I fall asleep. But make your artistic work, your artistic goals and dreams the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning and the last thing you think about when you go to sleep. The fourth and final way to be more artistic, release your music. Tell people what you're doing. Remind the world of your artistic side. And sometimes it's just good to say, hey, friends and family, I do this. Because guess what? They're not going to hear it on Audio Jungle. They don't know what Audio Jungle is. They don't want to know what Audio Jungle is. Make brands of your different styles that you do. Put them out on the DSPs like Spotify, like Apple. Make a CD if you want to, but be an artist outside of your music work. All work and no play is not very fun, even if it's music work. It can be a cold existence to just write music for money that no one hears except your clients. Don't hide your music in Motion Array or Audio Jungle or Pond 5. Put your music on SoundCloud and every once in a while, share it to Facebook. Make a video montage over one of your songs and have people go watch it at YouTube. These kind of things might be helpful even once you get some licenses and people hear that song, and they may even Shazam it if it's in a TV show or something, and then they can go to Spotify and they can have a listen. Now, this isn't about how much you're going to make with streaming and downloads, although I am getting ready to do a video where I'm going to talk about streaming and how it could be pretty important with sync licensing. And this isn't about how important a YouTube channel is to your music, although in an upcoming video, I will be talking about why you need to start an online brand channel. Above all, do music for you. Let your artist side be free and not a slave to just the work that you have to do in music. It's an easy trap to fall into. You say to yourself, I have to get this work done or my stock income's going to drop if I don't get enough stuff up to Motion Array. You may feel like you have to finish the track for the client or you're not going to get paid. Be artistic with your client work or your artistic work. Work as hard at music play as you do at your music work. Focus first on your creative projects in your time off, the first thing in the morning, the last thing at night. And then let the world hear your artistic works, and not just on Pond 5. You need to see this video about how a struggling artist / CPA now enjoys every minute writing just what she wants and making bank with licensing. Thanks for watching.